Have you ever thought about this problem? If natural resources have been depleted, what will our planet be? If you say no, I will present a little example. Water resources are resident for aquatic animals, which can help plants grow up, for communication, and to balancing animal bodies. If water resources are depleted, water cycle must be destroyed and living will die. Moreover, now Thailand is facing with drought in many provinces. When water resources are decreased, it affects forest resources. Forest resources have many benefits for humans and animals, such as food, residence, and oxygen production for life. If these resources are destroyed, the Earth must have global warming, El Niño, La Niña, and lack of ecological balance. For sure, it can affect to solid resources, wildlife resources, and other resources. And do you know what the cause of this problem are? The cause is human. Now, do you answer no with the first question? If you say yes with that question and worry that the world will end soon, don't worry about it because we have a solution to this issue. Nowadays, there are many choices of clean energy. For example, wind power, hydropower, solar energy, geothermal energy, and bioenergy. In the world, countries have different physical geography, so we should use the appropriate energy. Apparent geography in Thailand are high mountains, lowland in central Thailand, and Thailand. We will talk about appropriate clean energy in Thailand. In the present, most water is used to generate electricity. The water is used by changing the kinetic energy of water flowing from high to low into electricity. Equipment used to change water energy to electricity is turbine. High-speed water will pass channels that transfer kinetic energy to
to rotate an electricity generator. The popular hydroelectric energy in Thailand are dams and turbines. In Thailand, there are many dams, for example, Bhumipol Dam or Yanti Dam in Tam, Siligit Dam or Phra Som Dam in Uttaradit, and Lamtakong Dam in Nakhon Ratchasima.
Advantage of hydropower. Firstly, the most obvious advantage of hydropower is that water is an endless source, so hydropower is a renewable energy. Secondly, one other apparent advantage of hydropower is hydroelectric plants don't produce any toxin or greenhouse gases, so it is a clean energy. Thirdly, one other enormous advantage of hydropower is that dam can store water, so it is suitable for agriculture and dam can protect the forest. Lastly, another major advantage of hydropower is that dam can be a tourist attraction, so it can increase revenue for people. Disadvantage of hydropower. Firstly, the most severe disadvantage of hydropower is dam construction uses forest areas, so it destroys the environment. Lastly, one other distinct disadvantage of hydropower is that it is expensive because government use a huge amount of budget to construct. Thank you.
In the present, laws are involved with lifestyle of people, so everyone must do. Our group think that laws should be applied with resource and environment conservation. This method helps to conserve resource and environment. Legislation helps to prevent resource and environment. If they break the law, they must be punished. An example of law involved with resource and environment is the Nature Conservation Act. These laws and obligations include the 1992 Wildlife Conservation and Protection Act and the National Park Act. Purpose 1. This act shall lay down biodiversity conservation measures and a system for protection of valuable natural features with the purpose of contributing to nature conservation. 2. Biodiversity conservation measures shall be measured by which the protection of wild plants and animal species, including their genetic materials and habitats and ecosystems, is regulated. The sustainable use of biodiversity components facilitate and the maintenance of natural balance ensure. 3. The system for the protection of valuable features shall be a system which lays down procedures and methods for the designation of status of valuable natural features and the implementation of their protection. Laws involved with resource and environment is appliance of government in order to help social organizations to ensure a good environment. Advantage of the law. 1. Everyone couldn't break the law, because if they break the law, they must be punished. 2. Opportunity for people to participate in environmental management, because the law encourages consciousness of people what should be done and what shouldn't be done. 3. Laws help to develop quality of life. The laws help everybody have to a duty to protect resource and environment, so society and quality of life is better. 4. Laws help to fairness. Everyone needs to fairness to decide whether action is right or not. They must have a law. So laws is important rule. Disadvantage of laws: 1. Take long time because legislation have a complex process. Process of law has 4 steps. 1. Propose draft law to the authority. 2. Discussion of laws, what should be reduced or what should be added for complete laws. 3. The laws was enacted by the king. 4. The laws was promulgated.
The late 60s and early 70s was a time of renewed passion to protect the environment. The Cuyahoga River in Ohio caught fire because it was so polluted. Rachel Carson's Silent Spring brought attention to the effects of unregulated pesticides on both human and wildlife health.
Public reaction to Silent Spring was reflected first in a tidal wave of letters. Letters to congressmen, letters to...
People also were aware that our activities were causing irreversible harm to wildlife and plants. Wildlife across the world were disappearing from the landscape. The passenger pigeon, Carolina parakeet, and Xerces butterfly had already vanished. Other animals, like the American peregrine falcon and whooping crane, were heading down the same path. Lawmakers and citizens alike recognized the need to create a law to protect species and prevent them from going extinct. On December 28, 1973, the Endangered Species Act was signed into law. It provided for the protection of species, their ecosystems, and the enforcement of all treaties related to wildlife preservation. Through the ESA, our country declared that all species have value and deserve protection, setting the stage for the inevitable struggles to reconcile the reality of finite resources with the needs of species and the needs of people.
The campaigning is the easiest way to prevent natural resources from being depleted. The meaning of the campaign is advertising and persuasion, with the intent to fight, to achieve. So, the campaigning is create conscience. This is the first step of practice. There are many ways to campaign, such as 1. Media promotion. The media is all around us, such as telephone, television, internet, and billboard moving along tall buildings. This media will have access to people and create interest. We can use the media to be useful and use media as a medium to create conscience. That we shouldn't destroy natural resources and use natural resources to work. If the natural resources are depleted, humans will be in trouble. 2. The knowledge boost. The knowledge boost can be organized at various locations, such as schools, universities, department stores, and communities. We should organize booths in places where there are so many youth, because youth can convey knowledge to parents, offspring in the future. Some booths may have advisors to explain and give more knowledge. 3. Training camp and volunteer camp. Training camp and volunteer camp. Training camps are the most accessible way for people because we can determine what people want to know in the training camp. It is important that people come to the training camp voluntarily and intentionally. Most of them are youth in age of wanting to learn. We should create conscience for youth to have a positive attitude towards natural resources. Make them see the benefits of natural resources, that if one day the natural resources run out of the earth, humans will die. The fourth solution is 3R. The 3R are at the heart of management resources. All of us, whether are public organizations, private enterprise, or individuals in our own home, need to manage resources more sustainably. The world's resources are not infinite, and it's widely recognized that all of our activities today are contributing to deplete resources. It's scary to know that people in 2050 will only have 75% of resources per capita that people in 1950 had. Therefore, the only way we can support the future populations is by using our resources more efficiently. The 3R are reuse, reduce, and recycle.
Reduce. The first step to reducing your depleted resources is reducing the amount of resources you consume and use. Think twice before you buy or use anything. Do you really need it? By reducing your consumption, you will also decrease the amount of waste you produce.
Here are just a few ideas. Think between you print or photocopy. Print and copy as little as possible. email to minimize paper use.
Reuse. The importance of reusing products cannot be emphasized enough. Plastic containers can become food storage. Paper can become wrapping paper. The ways in which to reuse things are unlimited. All you need is to be creative.
Here are just a few ideas. Reuse envelopes by pressing a new label over the old address. Reuse a plastic bag or better, get reusable canvas bag.
Recycle. Recycling is the process of converting waste materials into new materials and objects. It's an alternative to conventional waste disposal that can save material and help lower greenhouse gas emissions. Recycling can prevent the waste of potentially useful materials and reduce the consumption of fresh raw materials, thereby reducing energy usage, air pollution, and water pollution. Here are just a few ideas. 1. When buying any type of product, see if it's available with post-consumer recycled content. 2. Production of recycled paper uses only half the water and 3/4 of the energy than new paper.
I think my 3R is the best idea and they are easier than any solutions because you can start at yourself and you can do it in this second. So let's do it. In conclusion, we can prevent natural resources from being depleted in for solutions that are renewable energy, law of natural resources, campaign about prevention of natural resources, 3R. I think 3R is the best solution for prevention of natural resources from being depleted because it consists reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reducing and reusing are the easier to do by yourself, but recycling is harder than 2 ways of 3R.
Because it is the process of converting waste materials into new materials and objects. Renewable energy is a good idea because it reduces energy resources, but it uses more money and long time. Law of natural resources is good idea because it can make people to do it, but this solution causes people unhappy because it enforces everyone and it has to be legislated a long time.
Campaign about prevention of natural resources is the easiest to access because we can see it anywhere, but people aren't interested in it. I believe that for solutions help to keep existence of natural resources. Cooperation of people could help to save natural resources and give the beautifully natural heritage to later generations. Let's do it now.
Measure and a system for protection of valuable natural features.
Human will be die will die เว้ยไม่ใช่ will be die 1 2 3 โอ๊ยมันไม่ 3 อ่ะ